Welcome back to Shadow Scribe, where we explore the darkest corners of unexplained mysteries. I'm your host, and today we're delving into a case that continues to haunt a small community years after it occurred. This is the disturbing case of the Oakwood Five. The disappearance. Oakwood University sits on the edge of Pinetree National Forest, a sprawling wilderness that draws hikers, campers, and nature enthusiasts from across the state. In October 2018, 5 students from the university's geology department embarked on what should have been a routine weekend field trip. Marcus Wilson, 22, the group leader. Emma Chen, 21, top of her class. Derek Santos, 20, transfer student. Olivia Murphy, 21, aspiring environmental scientist. And James Cooper, 22, known for his meticulous field notes and photography. The group set out on Friday, October 12th, to collect mineral samples from Blackridge Point, a popular geological site approximately 6 miles from the main campus. Their professor, Dr. Harmon, had approved the excursion but couldn't accompany them due to a faculty meeting. The group was expected to return Sunday evening. When Monday morning arrived and none of the students showed up for classes, their absence was noted but not immediately considered alarming. It wasn't until Monday afternoon, when all 5 missed a mandatory department meeting, that university officials became concerned. A call to their dormitories confirmed none had returned. Their vehicles remained in the university parking lot. By Monday evening, a formal missing persons report was filed with local police. The search began at dawn on Tuesday. Local police, forest rangers, and volunteer search parties combed the designated route and surrounding areas. Blackridge Point itself showed evidence the students had been there: a small campsite, some discarded food wrappers, and a single backpack belonging to Emma Chen. Inside the backpack were Emma's notebooks containing detailed observations of their collected samples, dated Saturday afternoon. The final entry stated, "Unusual formation discovered approximately half-mile northeast. Marcus and James investigating. Returning to main site before dusk." But perhaps most disturbing was what search teams found at the students' campsite: 5 sleeping bags still arranged around a long-extinguished fire pit, 5 sample collection kits, 5 sets of personal belongings. Everything needed for their weekend excursion was still there, except for the students themselves. Search efforts intensified over the next week. Helicopters with thermal imaging scanned the forest. Cadaver dogs and professional trackers were brought in from neighboring counties. The FBI joined the investigation on day 4. Yet, despite the massive coordinated effort, no significant clues emerged. The only additional evidence discovered was James Cooper's high-end camera, found hanging from a tree branch nearly a mile from the campsite in a direction opposite from where Emma's notes indicated they had planned to explore. When investigators reviewed the camera's memory card, they found dozens of normal photographs documenting the trip students smiling, geological formations, scenic views of the forest. But the final 3 images have become the subject of intense speculation and debate. The first showed a distant figure standing between trees at dusk, too blurry to identify clearly. The second captured what appeared to be a strange light formation in the night sky above the forest canopy. And the third was completely black except for what some analysts have identified as a pair of reflective eyes, similar to when animal eyes catch light in darkness. The timestamp on the final photo was 2:17 a.m. Sunday morning, nearly 36 hours before anyone realized the students were missing. The theories. In the 5 years since the Oakwood Five vanished, numerous theories have emerged. Let's examine each of them. Theory 1. Wilderness misadventure. The official position of law enforcement remains that the students likely suffered some form of wilderness misadventure. Perhaps they became disoriented while exploring, wandered off their planned route, and succumbed to the elements or an accident. Dr. Leslie Hammond, wilderness survival expert. Dr. Hammond. The forest changes completely at night. Even experienced hikers can become disoriented. If they separated from their campsite and faced sudden weather changes or injuries, their chances of survival would diminish rapidly with each passing hour. Yet this theory fails to explain the abandoned campsite with all equipment present, or why no remains have ever been found despite one of the most extensive search operations in the state's history. Theory 2. Criminal activity. Some investigators have suggested the students may have encountered criminal activity, perhaps stumbling upon a hidden drug manufacturing operation or becoming targets of an opportunistic predator. Former FBI profiler Aaron Michaels. The organized nature of the disappearance suggests potential human involvement. 5 adults don't simply vanish without leaving significant evidence unless someone took deliberate steps to ensure it happened that way. Yet no known criminal organizations were operating in that section of the forest at the time, and the remote location makes it an unlikely scenario for random criminal encounters. Theory 3. Voluntary disappearance. A third theory proposes that the students planned their own disappearance. Investigators explored this angle extensively, reviewing financial records, social media accounts, and interviewing family and friends. University counselor Rebecca Torres. Nothing in their psychological profiles or academic records indicated any desire to disappear. These were engaged students with strong family connections, future plans, and no unusual financial transactions or communications before the incident. Additionally, none of the 5 students have used their social security numbers, banking information, or contacted family members since their disappearance, highly unusual for a planned exit from their former lives. Theory 4. The supernatural. While dismissed by official investigators, local folklore and online communities have developed theories involving supernatural elements. These range from alien abductions citing the strange lights in James's photograph to encounters with unidentified forest entities. Social media discussions about the case narrator. Local historian Margaret Whelan. Pinetree Forest has a long history of unexplained occurrences dating back to indigenous accounts. There are at least 3 other documented cases of inexplicable disappearances in these woods over the past century. While these theories lack scientific evidence, they've gained traction due to the complete absence of conventional explanations that account for all aspects of the case. In 2021, 3 years after their disappearance, the families of the Oakwood Five held a joint memorial service. While none have given up hope entirely, they've had to find ways to continue living with this unresolved tragedy. Marcus Wilson's father spoke at the memorial. Wilson Sr. Not knowing is its own special kind of pain. There's no closure, no certainty. Every unexpected phone call brings that split second of hope that somehow, against all odds, it might be them. Oakwood University established a scholarship fund in honor of the 5 students. The geology department no longer permits unsupervised field trips, regardless of student experience level. A memorial stone sits at the entrance to the university's science building. Pinetree National Forest installed additional emergency markers and safety systems throughout the region. Park rangers now conduct regular sweeps of popular hiking areas, particularly around Black Ridge Point. The entire area where the students were last known to be has been extensively mapped with emergency location beacons. And every October, new missing person flyers appear throughout the town, featuring the faces of Marcus, Emma, Derek, Olivia, and James, a community unwilling to forget, still searching for answers. The final clue? In researching this case, we discovered one detail that has received surprisingly little public attention. 3 months after the disappearance, a hiker found a single page torn from a notebook, secured beneath a rock nearly 4 miles from the students' campsite. The handwriting matched Olivia Murphy's. The message, partially degraded by exposure to the elements, read, "If anyone finds this, we heard it again last night. Marcus thinks we should leave immediately, but the fog is too dense to navigate. James's compass isn't working properly. Something's not right about thee." The rest of the page was damaged by water and largely illegible, except for a final line at the bottom. "Not alone out here. They're watching from the..." Authorities determined the paper matched the brand and type Olivia used for her field notes, but could not verify when it was written or placed at that location. Some investigators suggested it could have been a hoax perpetrated after the case gained national attention. Yet if authentic, it raises disturbing questions. Who or what was watching them? What happened after Olivia wrote that final warning? And perhaps most importantly, why has no definitive trace of the Oakwood Five ever been found? The case of the Oakwood Five remains officially open. Forest rangers occasionally report hikers claiming to hear distant voices calling for help near Black Ridge Point, particularly around dusk. Others have reported seeing lights moving through the trees in formations that don't match known hiking patterns. Perhaps someday, the forest will reveal its secrets. Until then, 5 families continue waiting for answers that may never come, and the disappearance of the Oakwood Five remains one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries in recent memory. If you're hiking in Pinetree National Forest and happen to see a group of 5 young people with geological equipment moving through the trees just at the edge of your vision, some locals will tell you not to follow, not to call out, and whatever you do, not to wander off the marked paths after dark. This has been Shadow Scribe. Remember to like and subscribe for more unexplained mysteries, and share your theories about the Oakwood Five in the comments below. Until next time, stay vigilant in the shadows.